We'll move on in the game. Said goodbye yesterday to a true warrior and gentleman when Boyd Cordner announced his retirement. Crawls, how did you feel yesterday watching that press conference?
It was sad. The initial feeling was sad. Like he's, as everyone said, and I was talking to Paul on the phone yesterday, when I think of Boyd Cordner, I think of the kid that was tough enough as a 16-year-old to go down and play a trial for the Sydney Roosters when Freddie was coaching with guys like Craig Fitzgibbon. But what he's done now is intelligent. Like, he made the tough call. As he said, the easy thing would have been for him to go out and play another game. But he's made a courageous call, and he's set the tone for where the game needs to go.
And I tell you what, it leaves a mighty hole at the Roosters, because beyond Boyd Cordner, they've also lost Jake Friend and Brett Morris this year. And I just...
Two to head injuries. Two of them to head injuries. And look, this bloke, he's current Australian captain, New South Wales captain, Roosters captain. As good a footballer as he is, he's a better bloke. He's a citizen to be proud of, and if he's the measure by which the eastern suburbs are measured, you couldn't get a better person. And what he did yesterday, Paul, you're 100% right. I worked on radio yesterday and I took his retirement live, and he was visibly upset, and I was upset for him because of the circumstances. But he leaves the game in a great state because of his contribution, and I wish him all the best, because it would have been far easier to bat on for the next couple of years than to retire at 29 as he's done now. And it's a great legacy he leaves, as we can see, holding Origin plaques aloft and all the other things he's done through his Australian career, his career with the Roosters in New South Wales. He's a hell of a bloke, and he won't be lost to the game, because I can tell you now, he'll be part of the Roosters makeup for as long as he wants to be.
I love that line yesterday. I mean, we all know and respect Trent Robinson, that at difficult times in his life, he said, I'd ask myself, what would Boyd Cordner do?
Doesn't it tell you what a great game rugby league is too? That a boy from Old Bar, who was brought up by his old man, can go on and have such a claim in the game.
Yeah, one of the great men of our game.
One of the great men. He's a blue-collar hero. And I'll never forget, like, even as a young kid, remember when the Roosters won the comp in 2013 and he'd been out for ages? Was it hamstring or something that had kept him on the sidelines? But he came back and he won the grand final, and then Tim Sheens picked him straight in the World Cup side. He was only 20 or 21 at the time. But he'd already proven himself to these great leaders of the game that he belonged at the top of the tree.
I tell you the other great thing about rugby league, there's always another premiership to win. The Roosters will be thinking that now. They love Boyd. So do you know, how much have they got to spend?
They don't have a lot, Ben. No, there's a sort of theory going around that with the retirement of Morris, Friend and Cordner, that there's plenty of money sitting in the salary cap. But for a number of reasons. One, they don't get a lot of dispensation with Boyd actually from the getting injured in rep football, because it came into this financial year. The fact that the salary cap has come down because of COVID. Players at the club are already on upgrades for next year. So there's not a lot of money left in the cap for the Roosters. So
they're going to have to make do with what they've got?
They're pretty much going to have to make do with what they got, yeah. So this theory going around that they'll go to market and just cherry pick whoever they want to replace them.
But that's why they need Victor Radley, healthy and on the field. They need Victor. Victor, they need
something too.
Boyd's gone, they need you to step up, Victor.
One thing the Roosters do well, and everyone talks about the sombrero, but they pick up a bargain. They get a guy like Brett Morris, for instance, who was not really wanted at the Bulldogs, was told to go and find somewhere. He went to the Roosters because he wanted to be a winner. He went there for half price and won 2 comps. They'll find a bargain.